groups of farmers. They will say, oh, we are going to take 1,000 birds. We are going to take 5,000 birds. From this time to that time, and they will deposit their money, and we know that we have to run that money and make sure we supply to them. And it's a group of farmers, not one person. Because yes, one person can do that one, but if one person cannot do it, group of farmers, like I say, Lagos farmers, they come together, want so 10,000 birds. We know that we have to run and we have to promise them. Unfortunately, our size these days cannot meet up 10,000 at a go. Why? Because bashing fun lonje land run archery. At the end of the day, I need to tell Mama, I'm not interested in running this archery again because it's eating all what's it called. We have to reduce our boss to bearable size for us to be able to pay. And also, at the end of every year, we select. And we have to select against anybody that does not get what's it called. Presently now, we're in the midst of selection. We have reduced our board so much. But as we are reducing, we are also increasing. So the next set of board that will come by January will be performing better than this one. That's why I say when I say 55 grams, that is just safe average. We have eggs bigger than 55 grams. But Mama has a vision. Mama's vision is, oh, I want to take care of those poor farmers so she can. Then we gave chicks out. You know now, we gave chicks out free. Sometimes we give feeds and everything. That I tell her, Mama, you are the philanthropist now. Me, I tell her, I'm a businessman. That's right, because I was saying we are going to start sexing our boss. We are going to. She wrote me. She was on WhatsApp and said to me, "Te ba bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sexy wọn, o mọ̀ pé ani." I have a commercial farmer that says he wants only pullets. He does. But cockle yẹn máa ta less number. But I have to certify him. Tí n bá máa ta less number, téèyàn bá sọ pé òun ò lè rà cockle me less than 100, thinking that my dear cockle kilo money. Feel it. I will rear it at home in the school and I will sell it to FUNAB staff because we also have high demand. They cannot rear it, but they want meat. And also in our place, it's not that they just want it, they want processed meat. When I'm buying from the farm, they slaughter, cut here to pieces. Wash here so that in daily I just put inside pot and everything. And we have a restaurant also at the farm. If I don't want that, I say eba me spice here. And for now students, they like that spice. What's it called? They make my staff work 20 ejo iton yen o tobi to omo e ki ló fẹ́ máa fi ton tó tóbi tó báyìí ṣe o mọ̀ pé ton yẹn ti tóbi jù fún ẹni. Doctor, lè jẹ́ ká máa lè fẹ́ káwa boys máa jẹ orí adìyẹ náà. A máa jẹ ọrùn adìyẹ nígbà wájú àwọn babes. Ìtàn kẹ bá wà àyà ń kẹ wá. So torí babes ló ṣe má bínú. Ẹ bá fún ni. So you have different demand, different what's it called within the what's it called. So we have what we need is good partners. Good partners that will be patient with us. Some partners will partner with you and say, fún mi ní báyìí lọ́la. It will drive us crazy. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Please, we want Alhaji Oyilekun from Lagos to please help us appreciate Dr. Tumi and the Mama in absentia. Please, Alhaji.
Thank you very much, Professor Adebambo in absentia, Mama. All credit goes to her because Mama's target was the peasant farmers, the less privileged people in the society, on this project, it's not all about making money, like Dr. Ayotunde is becoming a commercial farmer. Mama started very, very small, and thank God today, the project is becoming has a commercial value today. So we want to thank Mama. Let's thank God for Mama for the vision. And we equally have to thank Mama for the energy and the effort. Equally, because Mama now has a legacy on Dr. Ayotunde. Dr. Ayotunde, we're grateful to you and the entire team. On behalf of Nigerian farmers, I don't want to say it's a great nation. Great, no farmer, no nation. No farmer, no food. So we sincerely appreciate you and the entire team of this project. And we have to thank Bill Gates Foundations too, because I was there. If not for them, all this effort wouldn't have come out like this. Now they are no more on the project, but I believe that sustainability is already in place. We so much appreciate all of you and UNAB in general for giving you the opportunity to perform. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, sir.
So, I think maybe because we've not shouted the slogan, so I'm almost lost. Great farmers, no farmer. So, we want to have a product presentation for now, and that will take us for a couple of minutes. I would like to call on the CEO, MD of FDH. They have a product that we all like to see, and they tell us much about it. So it's my pleasure to invite Mr. Femi Akinwale, the MD CEO, FDH, Agrovet Nigeria Limited, to present the product they have for us. A round of applause for him as he walks. 20 minutes.
Great farmers. Good mornings, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Femi Akinwale, and I'm the MD of FDH Agrovet Nigerians Limited. And I'm an animal scientist by professions. And our company is based in Ibadan, and we deal with distributions and marketing of veterinary drugs and vaccines. But there is this new product that presently now that we are having, and it is called an Advent coccidiosis vaccines. And the vaccine is from with a farmer in USA. And with a farmer actually is a company. They produce the feed additives, drugs, and also they do produce vaccines. So these particular vaccines, they produce it to take care of the problem and challenges of the farmer. And I know that every farmer here actually knows that one of the major challenges that farmers have been having is how to handle coccidiosis. And I think that everybody that is in the house this morning, every one of us, we have different means how we handle the coccidiosis on our farm. Many of us believe that we use different type of drugs. There are so many chemical drugs that we can use to take care of coccidiosis. And many of us also, we believe that if we put it inside their feeds also, as a feed additives, we can also use it to take care of coccidiosis. And then again, another aspect is the use of the vaccine. But some people believe that I want only to be using vaccines. I don't want to use drugs. And some people said that they want to be putting it only inside of the feeds. But wherever we went to deliver the seminar, presently now, it has been discovered that there is no single line of treatment that a farmer should attach itself to in taking care of coccidiosis. And this is one of the problems that Nigerian farmers have been having, is that we stick to only one line in handling the coccidiosis on our farm. We have some farmers, they said, I want to be using only the class 3. And at the end of the day, you discover that after some time, resistance is developed. Some farmers will say, it is only amprolium I want to be using. After some time, you discover there is resistance. Some people will say it is totrasuri. In the course of this, we can only note that there is a cause effect of this particular incident, because most of the time we discover that when you are having the coccidiosis, your birds will not be able to assimilate the feed as they're supposed to do. And again, most of the time, Nigerian farmers will want to see that their boy is having the bloody discharges before they want to be taking care of coccidiosis. But above all, when I'm going to summarize everything, I'm going to put together the use of the drugs, the use of the vaccines, and the use of putting chemicals also in your feed, how you can use this together. But this particular morning, I want to talk about the advent coccidiosis vaccine. As I have told us, it's a vaccine that is manufactured by with a farmer from USA. Please, can I have this thing on? Hello? Okay, it will come up. So, these particular vaccines, we have the packages in 10,000 doses. And when we first brought it last year, we were able to supply big farm like Amobin and some the rest. But presently now, we have it in 1,000 doses. And it takes years of broilers and pullets. Then again, how do we store these particular vaccines? We store it in the normal way we store the rest vaccines. Then again, the vaccine must not be freezed. That is another third aspect about it. Then, how do we mix these particular vaccines? We mix this particular vaccine by putting it inside the feeds for the chicken. Okay, let me go. You can see the material name is coccidiosis vaccine. The trade name is Advent. The manufacturer is with a farmer. It is meant for poultry. And you can see the appearance of it is clear liquid with small white sediment of mucus. And the odor, it is odorless. What is the composition? It's composed of Hemera asafoetida, Hemera maxima, and Hemera tenella. Up. Now, I said that it should not be freezed. Then again, this is what it does. It gives immunity against Hemera asafoetida, Hemera maxima, and Hemera tenella. Then the species is for broilers, and it's for pullets. Then how do we administer it? We administer it by mixing it in the ash. There are two ways of administrations. You can mix it in the hatchery by using the special sprayer after mixing. Then they will spray the balls. And then again, there's something we call spraying. After about 30 minutes of spraying, each of the chicks is going to peck each other's. And then by doing so, they are picking the mucus from their body. And then they are being immunized. But the second one that we actually know that is very common for all farmers is that you can mix it with the feeds. And I would like to talk more about the mixing by the feed, because that one is actually relevant to Nigerian farmers. As I've told us, we have 1,000 doses, 10,000 doses, and 40,000 doses. Then what is the presentation of this vaccine? We have the one bottle of the vaccines. This is just the pack of the vaccines. So here we have 10 vaccines. Then we have one bottle of the vaccine, which is 10 ml. So each one of the vaccine is 10 ml. Then we have one bottle of the dye, 10 ml. You can see the dye here. This is 10 ml. Each one bottle is 10 ml. Then this is the presentation of the vaccine. This is the vaccine, and that is the dye. The vaccine comes with the dye. Later on, I will tell us the reason why it comes with the dye. Now, I said, why dye? The essence of using the dye is to, the first reason is to attract each cheese for pruning. That is in the hatchery. But the second reason is that to color the feeds for effective mixing. So you are going to mix the vaccines with the dye, with water, with 5 kg of feeds for 1,000 balls. So by the time you mix it together, this particular dye is going to colorize the feed. So by the time you mix it together and you see any part that is not colorized, that one will tell you that you have not properly mixed the vaccines. Then when do we apply this vaccine? We apply the vaccine between the first day to the 7 days of age. Most especially, we ask farmers to give the vaccine from second day, because first day, the chicks might be stressed. But from second day to the 7 days of age, you can give the vaccines, and you are going to mix it with their feeds. Then how do we mix it? The first step, you will mix the 10 ml of the vaccines. You will pick 10 ml of the vaccines here, plus the 10 ml of the dye here. You will mix this together. When you mix this together, you will mix it with 250 ml of distilled water. Then when you have done that, you will now put the cheese in their plastic boxes, then you will spray them. That is for the hatchery. Please, can you fast forward it so that we can talk about the one for the, okay. Now, for the one, how do we apply it with the feeds? And I know that everybody can have access to the feeds. You are going to get chick starter. When you get the chick starter, you will get the chick starter that does not have any feed coccidiostart, like monesin, cyanomycin, fratadone, and prolum, like that. Then you will mix 10 ml of the vaccines with one of the 10 ml of the dye. When you mix this together, then you will now mix the solution with 250 ml of distilled water. Then you will now mix that particular solution with 5 kg of feeds. You will spread the nylon on the farm. You will spread 5 kg of feeds on it. The solutions of the vaccine that you have made, you will spread it on it. You will put the gloves in your hand, then you will mix it properly. You put the glove on your hand and you will mix it. Then you will now spread the vaccine on this. I mean, you will now spread the mixture of the vaccine for the way on their trays. But you must not give them the feeds very early in the morning. You don't need to withdraw the water. The only thing is that before you apply the vaccine, don't give them the feeds. Don't give them your commercial feed that you are serving them. You will now introduce the chicks and you allow them to consume the mixed feeds. Then avoid feed mixed up. By the time they are eating the one that you have already mixed together, the feed that you are using on the farm, don't allow your attendant to feed that one at that time. They are going to consume it within 1 to 2 hours. 1 to 2 hours of time, they will finish consuming it. Now, when you are doing your fascination, you must provide sufficient lighting for the chicks during fascination. That means don't do it when it is dark. Don't do it late in the evening. Doing it very early in the morning. Provide their normal feed after the consumption. It takes about 6 hours for feed to be consumed. But we discovered that practically, within 2 to 3 hours for people that have been using it, the whole feed will be consumed. Now, what are the observations that must be taken note of when you do the vaccinations? Number one is that anti-coccidial drugs should not be administered in feed or drinking water for at least 4 weeks following the vaccinations of the chicks, because this might inhibit the replications and the growth of the ucus. Because once you have given the vaccine, the Emeria organism needs to replicate. In the course, they need to recycle it by repeating the ucus. It is by recycling that the immunity is going to be generated. So and that is why we find that you must not use from the 3 weeks to 4 weeks. That is the time they are going to have the maximum immunity. And that is why you must not use anything that has to do with coccidiostart in your feed when you are using the vaccine. Then again, your chicks should be reared on the litter. It should not be reared in the cage. The reason for that is that the chicks must have an access to repeat the ucus back again. So when you are raising it up in the cage, the bird will not have the access. Then, in order to reduce the feed infection, floor litter should be removed and material and facility properly cleaned between production cycles. What this particular means is that when you are raising, when you have used up before you place your balls, you must have a proper cleaning, because the hukus take several years, even after you have packed the balls, after you have cleaned up your farm. And I think telling people that, see, the hukus, the disinfectant that you are using, the formalin and the rest of them, they only take care of viruses and bacteria. They don't have effects on the hukus. And this particular one, any other time you put the litter back on the farm, and there is a condition, there is oxygen, the litter is wet, all those ones that are already in the crevices, they have the ability to replicate back again. And this is what you are talking about. Like, in order to reduce the feed infection, flood litter should be properly removed and material and facility properly cleaned between production cycles, so that at the end of the day, there will not be too much pressures on the birds. Use the vaccine immediately after opening. The validity period after dilution must not exceed 10 hours. Because of our time, we will not be able to look at the testimonial. Why should you use the advent vaccines? And I keep on telling people, say we have had so many vaccines before. Many people have been sending so many vaccines before, but we have so many reasons why we are saying that this one is not one of those, and this one gives a very perfect, and people that have been using it, presently, we have supplied Olam, we have supplied Amobin, and all the Contra Brothers family that Amobins are doing, we are the ones that are supplying them all their vaccines. This particular weekend, we are vaccinating 50,000, and every week, we vaccinate nothing less than around 50,000 for Amobin. And just 2 weeks ago, we supplied 220,000 vials to Olam. So if you want to collect your cheese from Olam now, and you want you to be vaccinated from the hatchery, they are going to vaccinate for you with advent coccidiosis vaccine. Now, why should you use the advent vaccine? It is a live vaccine that is going to give your birds a full protection with only one inoculation within 28 days of age. All the Imeria, Astaphonina, Massima, and Tenena that it composed of, they will have their maximum immunity being reached within 3 weeks to 4 weeks. And your birds are covered. We have people that have used it in Ilorin, everywhere, in Port Harcourt and everywhere, and the testimony is there. Then, all birds vaccinated acquire specific immunity against the ferocious species of Imeria used in the composition. What this one meant is that we don't expect that, as I've told us before, there's no single vaccines that cover all the Imeria species. The only thing is that when you give a vaccine that has some specific type of hukus that is covered, the management that you go together with it is the most important thing. So now we know that there are some other species of Imeria that this one does not cover off. We have Imeria necatis, Imeria aganis, Imeria mitis, but somebody will be asking, what about all this one? How are we going to handle this? I'm going to let you know about this later on. Then the third reason why you should use the advent vaccine is that it is not expensive. It is very, very economical. Then non-resistance recorded. And I will give you the reason why farmers were having the reason that we have used vaccine before, we have problem, there is a resistance, there is a reaction, but this particular one is not like that, and I will give you the reason. As I've told you, long-lasting immunity will be given, since it's a live vaccine, it can undergo double cycling, thereby giving a longer immunity. That is, when you give the vaccines, the birds still have the access. That is why you don't pack the birds away. Within 3 weeks to 4 weeks, they must still be in the same place, so that the birds, the chicks, will have the access to repick the hukus back. And as they are repicking it, they are recycling it, and immunity is being generated. Now, number 6, where you should use the advent coccidiosis vaccine. It is the only vaccine presently now, and if you Google it, that is being used in America, and 95% of farmers, they use it for their broilers. Now, it is the only one that has the property we call Fiakis assay technology. Fiakis assay technologies enable a farmer to ensure the proper amount of sporulated fiable hukus in each file of the advent vaccines. What does this particular mean? The sporulated fiable hukus is not above the normal quantity, so that it will not cause post-vaccinal reaction. What this one means is that they are being able to produce a vaccine
that the quantity of the hucus that is inside this, the composition, it is not below and it is not above. And presently now, they are the only one that have that technology. So at the end of the day, your chick is not going to have the overloading of the hucus. So they have the technology. So when you say you want to use for 500 balls, for the exact 500 ball is what you are giving. So when you use the vaccine, you don't have the reaction. And that is one of the properties we have with these particular vaccines. Then I will say that advent fasting appears so much cleaner. Please, can you move forward, please? Please, move. Then advent fasting can be used in all seasons. Now, this number 9, we discovered that when people use the vaccines, one of the major constraints that we used to have is that people used to have what we call post-fascinal reaction, where you are going to be having necrotic enteritis. What causes the necrotic enteritis? In the process of the hucus being having effect on the GIT, some lesions are created. But this particular vaccine does not subject your boss to much lesions. In the process of being subject to much lesions, there is a proliferative organism and Clostridium pathogens, which is going to cause necrotic enteritis. And at the end of the day, you will discover that the boys will not be able to assimilate feed. And some people will say we use vaccine, the boy is not growing. But this particular vaccine does not subject your boys to necrotic enteritis. So you have your normal growth, your normal FCR. Then advent fasting ensures that your bird receives a dose that is high enough to promote immunity without causing excessive lesion that might encourage necrotic enteritis. Then, as I've told us, it contains Emeria asafoetida, Emeria maxima, and Emeria tenena. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you have a full immunity against Emeria asafoetida. Within 3 to 4 weeks, Emeria maxima is taken care of. And within 3 weeks, Emeria tenena is taken care of. And that is why we tell farmers that within 3 weeks to 4 weeks, don't pack the litters and don't move your balls from one pen to another. Don't divide them. So the only thing you can do is that where you are brooding, allow for a place where you can expand. So farmers will say they want to carry some of the litters and go and put in another place. No, it is not allowed. So before you place your balls for brooding, you must know that you are putting your chicks in a space that is enough to allow for expansion up to 4 weeks of age. Then control of coccidiosis. Now, I'll finish speaking about talking about the product, advent coccidiosis vaccine. So, but the rest one, as I've told us, I said I want to talk about drugs, and I want to talk about the one we put inside the fields. I'm not condemning using of drugs. We are sending drugs. We are sending the feed additives also as well. But see, the one of the things that we have already observed is that when you have only single line of medication, there's going to be a problem. Because at the end of the day, you will discover that this particular species of Emeria, they will develop resistance. And most of the time, Nigerian farmers only want to see that it is when their boy is having hemorrhages, that is when their boy is having what? Coccidiosis. But most of the time, you will only see a reduction in weight, reduction in growth, the body is not converting. And people will say, no, my body is not having coccidiosis. But meanwhile, if you are able to have a very good plan for your coccidiosis control on the farm, you will have a very good production. Like now, there is a use of anticoccidial drug, which everybody knows. Now, what are the causes? What are the things that makes the resistance to develop for coccidiosis? Now, look at this. Everybody knows that we can use totrasuri and prolium, diclasuri, and sulfonamide. But now, the way we use it, make our birds to be subjected to what? Resistance. The ideal way of application is that 3-2-3 basis. The first 3 days you give the drugs. The next 2 days you have a break. The rest 3 days follow with the drugs. But most of the time, we have that many farmers will say, let me use for 3 days and I stop. Some farmers will say, let me use for only 4 days and I stopped. At the end of the day, the resistance will develop. Why do we advocate that you should use for 3-2-3 basis? The reason is that the first 3 days, you are taking care of the hukus that are already matured. The rest 2 days that follow, those ones that are not yet mature, give ordinary water. By the 6th day, those ones that are not mature, who are already matured, then again, for the next 3 days again, you give your drugs. And it is said that for you, if you want to use drugs, you must give your coccidiosis drugs at the age of 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and 6 weeks. This is the standard way of handling coccidiosis on the farm. Hello? 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and 6 weeks. Now, I've talked about the one that we put, the chemical we put inside the water. Now, we have field coccidiosis. All this particular field coccidiosis we have in our company. But now, I will not say because I'm selling Fazin, I will say don't use this. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to let us know what in European Union, what they agreed upon when they have discovered the resistance, and they use it in the form of a rotational way, and they don't have the problem with their flock. Now, everybody know the ionophos coccidiosis, that is monacin, maduramycin, narasin, cyanomycin, semduramycin, lasalocid. Then we have the chemical nicarbazine, sulfonamide, amprolium, etobabe, totrasuri, and diclasuri. Everybody, as far as Nigeria, about 80% of Nigerian farmer is concerned, we are all used to the chemical coccidiosis. If you don't use amprolium, you will use totrasuri. If you don't use diaferidine, you will use diclasuri. And we are used to that. And I have seen farmers that are using diclasuri, and you will advise them that you have used diclasuri for this short period of time. Can you change to another thing? They will tell you no. But it will come to a time they will use the diclasuri, it will not work again. And then they will tell you that the drug is fake. The drug is not working. Not knowing that the drug is not fake, that they are the one that is fake. Now, when you talk about the ionophos, what are the ionophos? Monacin, maduramycin. What is the advantage of using monacin, maduramycin on your farm? Putting it inside the feed, what is the advantage? The advantage is that this particular class of field coccidiosis, they develop resistance gradually. And that is why you see, you can use them on the farm for 6 months. You don't have any problem. And another advantage is that they leave about 10% of the hukus to be spared. Then they will now allow the bud to generate what you call immunity. So that is the advantage of the ionophos. When you use the ionophos like monacin, you allow what? Your buds to develop immunity. But for the chemicals, when you use nicarbazine for a long period of time and it develops resistance, you have to change to another one. And that is why this one is common to us. But there is something about this one. When you are using the monacin, maduramycin, narasin, all of them, they have what you call a chain. Is that a chain that if you use one and you overuse it for a long time, and you want to change to another ionophos, it will not work. Cross resistance. So if you use monacin now for about 6 months, and it has developed resistance, you now say, okay, don't bring monacin for me again. Bring maduramycin. You will discover that it won't work. Because they have the same way of operation. They have the same activities. But if it is for chemical, if any of the chemical is having problem, and you change to another chemicals, it's going to work. So now, it's not just for a farmer now to decide how to play the game. If I use ionophos, how am I going to handle it? And if I use chemicals, how am I going to handle it? I will come back to that later on. Now, as I've already spoken about this one, ionophos, they possess slow resistance. How do they operate? They bind with the ions to destroy the parasites. The chemical concentrate that you are using, the diclasuri, the diaferidine, all those ones, they have rapid resistance. You can use the amprolium now, and after some time, you will discover that amprolium is not working again. And I have a farmer that have used so much money only just to control coccidiosis on the farm. Now, how do we use the field coccidiosis on our fields? We have what you call straight line method. I don't advise any farmer to take this particular one. When you are using the same time of coccidostat in your feed and you don't change, there's going to be a what? Resistance. The second one is that, look at the second one, short-two pattern. The short-two pattern is that you use ionophore coccidostat in your starter feeds and the chemical coccidostat in your finisher feeds. You are a broiler farmer. The best thing for you to use to avoid resistance is that you don't use ionophores in your starter feeds and you still use it again in the finisher. No. This one, you break it into two. You use ionophores in the starter, then you now use the chemical coccidostat in the finisher feed. We have a lot of feed coccidostat that are in form that are chemical, like nicarbazine. We have it. Robenidine. And robenidine gives you a very good cleaning up. Then the use of the vaccine, live non-attenuated, it undergo double cycling, as I've told us. Take note of the amount of moisture of your litter if you are using the vaccine. Very dry litter is undesirable because it slows down the development of protective immunity against the coccidiosis in vaccinated birds. Okay? Now, I talk about coccidiosis resistance. What is coccidiosis resistance? It's an occurrence of clinical coccidiosis in the chicken when either you have used the coccidiosis drugs or vaccine that are supposed to prevent the diseases, but it fails. Then what are the causes of resistance when you have overwhelming from feed strain challenges? Okay, now maybe your farm is, the strain that is common to your farm is Imera, Tenena, Mazima, and one other species. But somebody comes from his own farm, and you allow him to have an entrance, and he's bringing another what? Another strain entirely. There's going to be what? Overload. The improper use of anticoccidia drugs. I have spoken about that one. Long exposure of particular chemical or ionophore to coccidia. Then, when you're having the problem with gumboro and marex, your birds are going to be prone to what? To coccidiosis. Then, when you increase the density of the birds in a pen, where you're supposed to put 500 birds, you put 800 birds there. There's going to be what? Outbreak of what? Coccidiosis and resistance. Now, I said something the other time that many farmers believe that once they use Dettol, they use Isa, all this one, as they have taken care of everything that has to do with coccidiosis. And I say it is no. Go and Google it. It's not like that. When you use all those chemicals, they only take care of viruses and bacteria. But if your farm is endemic, there are some people that say their farm is endemic. And they use one drug, doesn't work, they say to another one, because the load of the parasite is very high. Then, what do we advise them to do to reduce the load before you put the chicks? Will you use Isa? No. What are you going to use? This is the one. We have two options. This is the option A. You get your pen cleaned and washed with suitable disinfectant to remove the organic matters. That is number one. Number two, put 300 ml of ammonium hydroxide in 100 liters of water. Use it to splash all the crevices and corners of the pen houses. It is only ammonium hydroxide that has effect on the mucus. It will break the cell wall. All the disinfectant that you are using does not have effect on it. Use it to splash all the crevices and corners of the pen houses. Then leave it for a day. When you leave it for a day, later you wash the pen and the entire pen house with detergent to remove any remnant odor of ammonium hydroxide. That is how, and I keep on advising farmers that once in a while, maybe at least every 6 months, as you are taking care of viruses and bacteria, take care of what? The load of what? Mucus on your farm as well. Take a time, use these particular chemicals, use it to wash, use it to clean, and your farm will be very, very clean. And you are going to use less in what? In buying drugs. Again, I said there are two options. For the option B, for every 100 meter square floor space, mix 10 kg of calcium hydroxide, mix it with 20 kg of ammonium sulfate. When you have mixed it together, you spread it on the floor of the pen house. When you have done that, you pour 100 liters of water on the top. You splash the water on the top of it. It will produce ammonia, and that ammonia is going to kill the mucus. Then your farm is free. And again, use the gas mask during the operation. Again, what happens when you use advent fasting? I've spoken about this one. Please. Now, conclusively, I told us before, when farmers were complaining that we use fasting before there is resistance, I've told us there's no one single line of handling coccidiosis. When you use fasting for some time, let me say this at this junction. What is the benefit of using fasting? What is the benefit of using coccidiosis fasting on your farm? Once in a while, as they put it there, is that when you use the fasting, the benefit is that the vaccination will allow those particular strains that are resistant to drugs. The vaccination will make them resistant. By the time you are no longer used to what? The vaccines. So by the time you are having problem with coccidiosis on the farm, you just stop. Just what? Vaccinate for almost 2 or 3 batches. You will discover that by the time you don't use the vaccines again, all the problems you are having will be past. Because the vaccine will make the immunity to be very high, and your body will not have resistance again. So this is one of the primary benefits for people that are what? And the whole lot of people, when I was in their office some times ago, they were telling me, they said they want all their vaccinations, 90% of their vaccinations to be done in the hatchery. So if you buy their chicks now, what they are telling you is that infectious bronchitis is taken care of, Abi, ND is taken care of, coccidiosis is taken care of. What else remains for the farmer? Only anti-CRD. Finished. And if they decide that, okay, we want to take care of CRD as well, there is a live vaccine for CRD. So farmer does not have any headache again. You can see it now. So we are going to an evolution whereby most of the headache of the farmer will be taken care of. But it is not left for the farmer to imbibe into the what? Into the ideas. Now, as I've told us, how do we handle the coccidiosis on the farm? Now, we are selling advent fasting. When you use it, the first batch, look at this thing. Look at this place. This is the first batch now. Let's say you collected 3,000 broilers in your pen. Now, you use the advent fasting. If you don't even use the advent fasting, you use any other fasting, this is how you must use it to have a result. When you use the fasting here, that is the first. You use for the second batch here, it's still good. The third batch here. It is advised that don't use fasting again for the fourth batch. Change to chemical again. So here again now, you are going to use drugs. You can use amprolium. The fifth batch, you can use what? Totrasuri. And this is how it goes. This is the standard in US and in EU, European Union. They don't miss it. All their farm, this is what they follow. And they don't have any problem. And the load of ukus on their farm is very, very, very negligible. But Nigerian farmers, if you start to advise them, like, please, it is totrasuri, they will say, no, you have used totrasuri for 6 months. You say, no, that is what worked for my farm. We are not saying it's not working for your farm. But when you keep on continuing using it, at the end, the farm will be closed down. And one will not be able to achieve a profit-oriented business. So, great Nigerian farmers, what we are saying this particular morning is that advent coccidiosis fasting is available in 1,000 doses, and you can easily get this from all our distributors all over the nations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kimwale, the CEO, MD, FDH. We have heard it, or perhaps we have 1 or 2 questions, so that I can take the question before we leave. 1, 2, and 3. So 3 questions.
Good afternoon. My name is Samson Aidogo. So on the course of your seminar, you said that the vaccine will get complete immunity, what is it called? Immunity, or what do you call it?
Complete immunity.
Complete immunity.
Maximum immunity.
Maximum immunity within 3 weeks.
3 weeks plus, yes.
3 weeks plus, yes. From experience, we discovered that the coccidiosis is transovariance. Transovariance.
Okay.
Meaning that it can be contacted from the egg.
Okay.
And that from there, it means the development can even start from the egg. From experience, I've experienced DOC at day 5 and coccidiosis comes up. Now, if I now buy this and I use it at day 1, at the end of the day, the type of coccidiosis that are coming up on this bed are the Emeria teleria, which will come to the hand at 3 weeks. Can I say that this vaccine did not work? That's my question, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Firstly, to answer your question, you know what is that? For the first 1 week, your chick is having maternal immunity against coccidiosis. And that is why we don't advise people to vaccinate at 2 weeks of age. In abroad, they do it up to 2 weeks. But we look at Nigerians' environment. We cannot advise farmers to do their own at 2 weeks. There's a doctor that do his own in Port Harcourt after 10 days. He do not have any problem. But what I will say is that when you buy a chick and by 3 day, 4 day, you're having coccidiosis, that means the hatchery where you buy it is a very bad hatchery. You don't need to patronize them. That is just the truth. That is just the truth. You don't expect, eh? I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that. You see, I have seen people that have, I have seen a farmer in Bauchi State, a very big commercial layers farm. He's having problem with coccidiosis when the birds are already laying. When he called me, how old are the birds? He said they are 24 weeks. And you are having coccidiosis. And he even showed me the picture and every other kind of thing. But what really happened is this. Later, I will not dispute it because there has been a mismanagement from the start that he has been carrying over. And I don't even expect those particular birds to perform to the maximum. Because one of the problems we have is that if a farmer is able to handle the coccidiosis on the farm, he's going to enjoy those birds. Because it's the most disease that take care of GIT. And if the GIT of the bird is already damaged, what are you going to talk about? Now, when the bird now grow up, they'll be running around, vitamins, this one and this one. No. Where the major job supposed to be done is when the birds are what? Very, very small. And at that particular point in time, you made the ecosystem of the GIT to be clean, to be okay. The balance between the microorganisms, you understand, to be well balanced up. At the end of the day, the bird is going to grow uniformly, and the farmer is going to enjoy the flock. So that is it, sir. Please. Please. Good afternoon.
Or there's another vaccine that takes care of that?
As I've already told us at the beginning, if you actually listen to me, I said there is no single, if anybody says, my own vaccine take care of all the malaria species, it's a lie. Because each of the organisms produce immunity specifically. And the major reason why we look at that, they look at the ones that are most pathogenic. We are not saying the other ones are not there. But we look at the ones that are what? But the essence, as I've already told us, when you use the vaccine, it made the immunity to be what? To be developed. So even if the other ones are there, they will not be relevant. Unlike when you use the drugs. If you use drugs, there are sometimes they will develop the resistance, and I have a farmer that have used so much drug, and at the end of the day, they ask him to go and use a pure amprolium. Pure amprolium do not work, and before you know what is happening, before you get the one that will work, you know the type of name. The value of the boss is already what? Gone. Okay.
While you are talking about the time of development, you say about 3 to 4 weeks. You make mention of about 3 species of malaria, and whereby I discovered that necrotic is not there. And from research, we are told that the two categories that are mostly injurious in chicken are the Emeria tenella and the necrotic. So if you are advising us to buy this and the person is not taking care of the necrotic, I don't think.
Okay. Now, let me answer your question. You must not want things that when you have a Marian necrotis, you are mostly when the boy is going to the age of 8 weeks at the later stage. The species that causes the earliest stages of coccidiosis are these particular 3 ones. And meanwhile, at the earliest stage, this one will produce enough immunity. Now, there was a farmer, I said, this thing is not meant for turkey. But I've seen a farmer that has been using it for turkey, and he has collected almost 6 times, and it's working. So to him, it is working for him. But I told him that it is meant for broiler and what? And a pullet. Another thing you must take note of is that the 3 species that I've taken care of, when they produce the immunity always cover up some other species, in the sense that there will not be stress on the boss, the rest one will not be able to work. We have people that are using for pullet. Emeria necrotis is mostly common on pullet and layers. You understand? But we have people that are using for their layers. As of this weekend now, we are facilitating so many layers. So you discover that they use it, and our marketers goes there to follow it up, and you don't have up any problem. Presently now, the landmark university in the Kwara State is our facility now that they are using. They have for their commercial farm, and they have for their the one they use for the student, and they have up to around 50,000, and this is what up they are using, and they don't have up any problem.
Thank you for the enlightenment so far, sir. I have 2 questions. The first one being, I want to ask beyond this particular coccidiostat, especially Torazuri. Somebody told me it is antagonistic when being used along with vitamins or antibiotics in poultry production. I don't know how true it is. You can help me to shed light. That's question number 1. Well, question number 2, I wouldn't know if I actually had the wrong thing while you were saying it, that if you want to use coccidiostat, it is best advised we use it 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yes.
Am I on the right
Yes,
path?
yes.
But sir, considering the fact that this coccidiosis, especially the ucus, do arise when water splashes inside the poultry pen, especially the deep litter, does it really mean that, let's say, 18 weeks at lay, and far beyond 18 weeks, it can be used, or we have to change to another one entirely?
No, I don't expect you to be using the coccidiostat at 16 weeks, 18 weeks of age for your layers. It is meant to be used within 2 weeks, 4 weeks, up and 6 weeks. And this we are talking about, there's no hard and fast rule about it. The level how you management of your farm, but the standard thing that they actually advocate is that you must use it 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and 6 weeks. You understand? So, but if your farm, you cannot expect a farmer that take good care of his own farm, you cannot expect the same results. He might use his own only once. If the load of the ucus is not much there, but it will be wrong to make a generalized statement that use this for only 2 weeks. Then the second question that you asked about the totrasuri, it does. But one thing I want you to know is that all the chemicals, they have one thing or another as a contraindication. Do you know if you use amprolium now, amprolium is antagonistic to thiamine. You understand now? Vitamin B, I think vitamin B1 or B2 or thereabout. You understand? Now, if after you have used amprolium all through, you understand? And as a farmer, you don't have the knowledge that after you use amprolium, your bed is not well. You know, birds generally, they were able to, on their own, they can produce vitamin B complex. Vitamin B,
You understand? But now, when you use amprolium will make the affordability of thiamine not to be available for your birds. So after you have used the amprolium now, we expect that you use vitamin that have enough vitamin B to supplement. But now, many farmers will not know that. Immediately after they use amprolium, they will not be seeing deficiency of thiamine. So most of the time is that we are in a age that nobody should be ignorant. And I keep on telling people that we are not only selling the product, and everywhere we have the seminar in JOS, everywhere, we make farmers to really know what to do. When the farmer knows what to do, you understand, it will keep us in business. If about 10 farmers closes their farms, where are we going to sell our product? So the best thing for us is to allow them to know what to do and how to do it. Thank you.
So we want to thank Mr. Femi Akinwale, the MD CEO of FDH, for coming up with this new product. And we hope farmers have had a good time for it. So thank you, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you, everybody. So I wish you journey mercy to every farmer that have witnessed this year conference or show for PANOC. So have a wonderful day. Safe trip back home. I don't know if they have any information to pass.